you how to make face cream or face lotion, and I'm going to tell you why I make my own and what kind of oils I use and why I use them, and the benefits of making your own and using those specific oils, and show you how to do it yourself. So if that is something that you're interested in, then stick around for the rest of this video. Face cream, I thought it would be a good idea to tell you why we're making our face cream, and the reason for that is very simple. It's just because I couldn't find one that didn't have a bunch of cancer-causing, bad-for-you, harmful ingredients. Even the ones that were all natural still had bad stuff in them, and they were being passed off as better than the average face cream, but in reality, when you actually start looking at the ingredients, they still have a lot of the same ingredients as the ones that they say they're better than. And so rather than try to pronounce all of them myself and go through and tell you everything that's wrong with all of these ingredients, I will just kind of do a scrolling list right here of some of the ingredients in two brands. And the first brand I'm not going to tell you the name of. I just don't feel comfortable saying this is a bad brand and you should stay away from it. I'll just say that it's a well-known face moisturizer company. They sell a lot of facial skincare products, and they're very, very popular. So I'll list some of the ingredients, the first few in each product here somewhere, and just a few little clips of what is wrong with those. And all of the information that I get comes from a website called truthandaging.com, and you can honestly go there for any product. It doesn't even have to be a face cream, and type in the ingredients that are in that product, and it will tell you, has it been studied, has it been researched, is there something harmful in it, has it proven to cause cancer, something like that. It's going to list all that stuff. So truthandaging.com, and I'll link it below. And I'll probably just do the first few ingredients because the list for this one particular facial moisturizer is about a mile long, and nobody has time for that. And then the second one is a natural face moisturizer. And I use that term very loosely because I didn't even have to get a few ingredients into it. It was the very first ingredient in this natural face moisturizer was a harmful chemical. And not only was it a harmful chemical, but it also, according to truthandaging.com, is not supposed to be used on the face at all, ever. And especially not on broken skin, which we all know happens. I mean, sometimes we get breakouts, especially during certain times of the month, and if you can't use a product that's for your face on broken skin, then, I mean, one, you shouldn't be using it at all, and two, you'd have to be really careful about when you're using it and whether or not you have a breakout, which just seems kind of funny, being that it's a face cream, and usually you want those to not only be able to use them on broken skin, but to help heal that broken skin. So, yeah, just to recap, ingredient list or partial ingredient list for two moisturizing creams. One is just a normal brand, one is a natural brand, and this is why we don't use them. I'm sure there are good brands out there that don't have a ton of harmful chemicals. As a matter of fact, I can think of one off the top of my head, but it's ridiculously priced, like ridiculous, and I don't have the budget for that either. So the only logical thing I could think of was just to make my own. And so now I'll tell you why I use the oils that I do before we go ahead and get started. Basically, I just use two oils. I use Rosehip Seed Oil and I use frankincense. And I use the Rosehip Seed Oil because it has a ton of benefits, not just for your face, but also for your skin in general. And some of those benefits are that it can heal scars. I've seen people use it in like a Neosporin type cream to heal wound scars. and so obviously it's going to help with acne scarring as well. And it also prevents acne, and it helps repair sunspots and just skin damage in general. It's really good moisturizer. It keeps your skin looking young. The benefits go on and on and on for Rosehip Seed Oil. So that's the main oil that we're going to use. And then I also like to put frankincense essential oil in it, and that is simply because it also helps with acne and it's good for skin. And that's pretty much it. We're just going to keep it really simple with just a few ingredients. A very simple process, can be done in a few minutes. Doesn't take very much time at all. And all of the ingredients that we're using you can order from Amazon, especially if you have Prime. That's an excellent way to get these ingredients. And not only will they help you make the face cream, but also some other things that we make here at home, like baby lotion and conditioner and things like that. So it really is cost effective to order these ingredients and just kind of start testing the waters of making your own things. It's not a huge waste of money. It seems a little expensive at first because you have to buy these oils, but once you have them, you use a very tiny bit for the actual product, and then you have enough for tons and tons and tons of other things. And before you know it, you're making everything in your house and you're not paying a cent to the grocery store or home parties where you're paying huge amounts of money for very small products. You're just gonna do it all on your own and live a happier life for it. So without further ado, this is how we make a face lotion cream moisturizer. Going to put into our face cream, or our moisturizer, is Emulsifying Wax. So this is the brand that I use. It's a non-GMO vegetable emulsifying wax. And then on the back it talks about non-GMO, 100% from vegetables, no additives, easy to use and non-toxic. And I'm making a double batch of this so that I can give half of it to a friend who also needs some. And so I'm going to put 1/4 cup of emulsifying wax into the pot. And I like to use stainless steel or glass when I'm making this. Okay. The next thing I'm going to put in is the same amount of oil that I placed of emulsifying wax. So if you use 1/4 cup of emulsifying wax, you're going to use 1/4 cup of oil. And this is the oil that I'm using. It's the Rosehip Seed certified organic oil, and so I'm going to put 1/4 cup of this in. And that is just shy, so I'm going to grab my other bottle. There we go. And just dump that right in with it. Okay. And then the next thing I'm going to add before we put it on the stove is distilled water. And for this recipe, seeing that I used 1/4 cup of oil and 1/4 cup of wax, I'm going to use 1 1/4 cups of water. Okay, now that I have everything in my pot, I'm going to go ahead and move it over to the heat and get it heating up. Okay, so I have my pot here and I've got it on high heat. You can put it on whatever temperature you're comfortable with, but I'm not leaving this. I'm not going to walk away from it, so I'm just going to have it on high heat until the wax is melted. And it does not take long at all for this to happen. You can already see that it's kind of turning a creamy color. It does not take very long at all. It's not going to hurt it if it boils or anything like that. You just don't want to walk away from it. We've almost melted. Alright, I think we're just about there, and it's only been a minute and a half. It doesn't take very long at all. Alright, I'm going to call that done. Just turning off the heat, and then I'm going to take it off the stove to let it cool, and then we'll add the next thing. Okay, I've got it here on the counter, and we're just gonna let it cool down for a few minutes, and then we will add the essential oils and the vitamin E oil and all the last steps. So we're just gonna let it sit here and cool down just a few minutes. Okay, this has been cooling for just a few minutes, and I've also got my whisk here, and just as it's cooling, I'm going to whisk it, and I'll walk away for a little bit and then come back and whisk it again. I don't, and then I'll come back and whisk it again. What I don't want to do is walk away from it and let it cool completely, because then a layer is going to develop on the top of the wax and the oil, and the water will be left underneath, and I'll have to reheat it and do this all over again. So I don't want to walk away from it completely, and I want to kind of stir it continuously as it's cooling every few minutes. Now that it's cooled down just a little bit, I'll go ahead and add my essential oil, and I'm using frankincense because of its benefits as far as preventing acne and helping with skin. And I'll, ooh, that came out really fast, just about 5 drops. Doesn't take very much at all. Stir that in. The next thing I'm going to add is vitamin E oil. And this, like I said, is not going to be a preservative, but it will extend the shelf life a little bit. And it's also really good for your skin. I'm just going to add about a squeeze. Stir that in. And then the last thing that I'm going to add to extend the shelf life is citric acid. And this is a very large bag of citric acid because I also use it for bath bombs. We just need a tiny little bit. You can also find this, if you don't want to order it online, you can find it in the canning section at grocery stores. So I'm going to use a 1/4 teaspoon and just sprinkle that in and then stir it up. And that is it. Basically now all I'm going to do is just come back and stir this every couple of minutes, and I can actually already feel it starting to get thicker as it cools. If I'm in a really big hurry, sometimes I'll put it in the fridge and then just open the door and stir it every couple of minutes, but not gonna do that today because I've got dinner going, so I'm out here anyway. While I am waiting, I don't really want to leave the kitchen because I've got dinner going and this cooling, but neither really need my attention right this very second. So I'm just going to prepare my jar. And this is, I need to wash this out. This is what we just used the last of. It's just a 4-ounce glass, like a jelly jar, I guess. You can get a whole pack of these at Walmart for, I think there's 12 in a pack, and they're about $8. And then I also got these white lids. They're just plastic. It was easier. I noticed that when I had the metal lid on it, it kind of developed rust around the lid, and with these there was no issue with rust, obviously, because it's plastic and it looks nice sitting in the bathroom. So I'm just going to wash this out and sanitize it and get it ready for the new batch of lotion. Okay, so this has been cooling for about 30 minutes and it's just warm to the touch. It's not hot at all, and you'll notice that it's still kind of liquidy. And what I have found is that if I get my stick blender out and I really go at it with the stick blender, then it thickens right up. But if you don't want to do that, then you can just let it cool completely, and usually within a couple hours it's pretty thick, enough that you could dip your finger in it and it doesn't drip off. But I don't want to do that, so I'm going to go ahead and get my stick blender out and emulsify it. Oh, here we go. Just got a stick blender. Mine is in really bad shape. It's broken. Actually, there's a hair on it, which I don't want in my lotion, so I'm just going to pick that off. Okay, so not in good shape, but it does the job, so we're just going to go in here with this and get it done. And right away you can feel it thickening. I don't know what it is about this that makes it thicken up, but it really does. Okay, and that's really thick now. Go. And then it's still just a hair runny, but I'm not worried about it all because I know that as this sits overnight, it'll be in the morning. This will be to where I could tip it upside down and it's not going to come out. So I think it really just takes some time to set up, but definitely stick blending it speeds up the process a tiny bit to where it's usable right now. I'll show you. And it's not greasy at all. It's very smooth and creamy, and like you would expect a lotion to be. You can see my skin isn't shiny at all. It's not the least bit greasy. It's just a really good, smooth, creamy feeling. Day, and I just wanted to show you really quick what I meant by if you let it sit overnight it will thicken up a lot more. So as you could tell from just a few seconds ago, the previous day right after it was done, when you dip your finger in it, it's thick, but it drips off of your finger a little bit if you hold it there. Well, if you let it sit overnight, it completely thickens up, and it's not so thick that it's hard to get out of the container, but it is thick enough that you can turn it upside down and it's not going to fall out. So this is, I just wanted to show you really quick. This is, and actually let me turn the light on. Okay. So this is what it looks like. And then if I take the jar and I tip it upside down, it's not going anywhere. But it's still nice and creamy. A nice lotion-y consistency. I did want to say really quick that this moisturizer is good for skin that is dry all the way to oily. It seems to work really well for a lot of skin types. This is, I think I said in a previous video that I do make and sell these things. It's not really for profit right now. I'm just kind of, I guess, more making it for opinions because I usually just charge what it costs for the ingredients. But there have been a large variety of people that have tried it, and it is my best-selling thing by far. Lots of compliments on it, lots of different skin types, and everybody seems to love it. The only exception to that is super dry skin, like really, really dry skin. And the easiest way to fix that is to make the same lotion recipe with the rosehip oil, and once the lotion has cooled like it is now, go ahead and add in maybe another tablespoon of rosehip oil, or another oil like maybe avocado oil would be really good in moisturizing, and whisk that into it really good, and then put it back in the container, and that just gives it a little bit of extra moisturizing properties and is a little bit better for drier skin. And that is it. That is a face cream good for everybody with no crappy stuff in it, and that is not going to give you cancer. So happy day. And if you liked this, then hit the subscribe button so you don't miss anything else, and I will see you in the next video.